Hotel staff, what's the most horrifying thing you've ever seen on the job? A man came through the door dragging an unconscious woman by the arm. She was in a formal dress, hair pinned up like she'd come from something expensive, but her head lolled on her shoulder and her heels scraped across the tile like her legs didn't remember how to work. I stood up halfway behind the desk, racking my brain to remember if there was anything at all close to this in our training manual, but the man seemed really calm. He just laughed and said, "Big night," he said. "Too much champagne." He didn't seem embarrassed, just super casual, like he was used to hauling women around like pieces of luggage. I asked if she needed medical attention. He waved it off, called her a lightweight, and started filling out the check-in form. She leaned against the counter, unmoving, the side of her face pressed into the glass. I remember thinking her skin looked flat and gray, but I didn't say anything. He paid in cash, and I handed over the key card while she slid slowly down the front of the desk like her knees had given out. He caught her under the arms and dragged her down the hall without another word. I watched them on the hallway feed. She never lifted her head, not once. The next morning, housekeeping called the desk. They'd come in to clean and found a guest in bed who wouldn't wake up. I knew what room it was before they even told me the floor. When I got there, the door was ajar. One of the housekeepers was crying and doing the sign of the cross on herself. The woman was in bed, still in the dress I saw her in. Her hair still pinned up. Her eyes were open and her mouth was slack. The man was gone. When the ambulance came, they confirmed that the woman had been dead for nearly 24 hours and that she'd probably been strangled. I checked them in 7 hours before. I thought the cops would yell at me or even arrest me for checking in a corpse, but they didn't. They just kept rewinding the tape trying to identify the guy. I stood there with my fists in my pockets trying not to throw up while I remembered the way her face had smushed against our front desk. They asked for the guest log, and that's when I realized he'd signed in with her name, not his. The saddest thing was that it didn't even make the news. There was a mass shooting the next town over that same day, so no one even knew that a man carried a dead woman into a hotel, slept beside her for God knows how long, and disappeared into the morning like it meant nothing. I don't even know if they ever found him. I still work at that motel, but now when someone stumbles in with a partner who can't speak or stand, I don't ask if they're wasted. I ask their name and where they're coming from, and I call the police as soon as they're in the elevator.